Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about don't text her anymore. So if there's a woman in your life who knows that you like her, perhaps you've asked her out and she rejected you, or perhaps this is an ex and she dumped you and maybe you begged and pleaded to get back with her, all in all, she knows how you feel about her. You don't need to do any more on your part. You've done probably everything already in your power to let her know that you're interested, because maybe you asked her out, maybe you tried to get back together with her because she dumped you. Maybe she started to lose interest if it's a woman that you're just dating and you reached out to her and asked her what was going on, tried to get some clarification, some closure. Like, she knows how you feel about her. She knows that you like her. So when it comes down to things that you need to do, you don't need to do anything else. She knows. She knows how you feel. So you don't need to text her anymore. Instead, you should just leave the ball in her court and let her come to you. Now, yeah, sure, it may be true that she has no feelings for you now whatsoever, or perhaps it's a case of she never had feelings for you because perhaps it's a crush that you had and you asked her out and she rejected you. Whatever your story may be, it may be the case that she doesn't have those feelings for you and you may never hear from her again. But you've got to be able to let go of that situation. You've got to be able to let go of the idea of trying to feel like you could win her over in some way. Because more than likely, if she has no feelings for you anymore, or she never had feelings for you, there's not really a lot you can do to change her mind. Because if she's going to change her mind, she has to be the one that changes her mind. There's nothing that you can do, as in words you can say, to convince her otherwise. Because if you think about it, words don't really convince, feelings convince. If you're going to buy something, usually people buy things for emotional reasons. So for example, it could be a book and the book is titled something like How to Be a Millionaire Before You're 20 or something like that. People who are under the age of 20 are going to be like, oh yeah, I really want to check that out. I really want to, but they're doing it for an emotional reason. They're not doing it for, let's say, logical reasons. They're thinking, oh yeah, I want to be a millionaire before I'm 20. Things like that, you see. Or it could be a car, right? And you see all these amazing adverts that they do for cars these days. Well, they've always done really amazing adverts for cars, actually. And, you know, you can really, like, see yourself driving the car. Like, maybe it's going for, like, a desert, or it's going for, like, a really sleek city like Dubai or something. You're like, oh, yeah, I'd really love to drive a fancy car. Because you can put yourself in that emotion, right? And see yourself in it. And we do that with all kinds of stories as well, which is why stories are a great way to, like, teach and instruct people. Because you can put yourself in the shoes of the other person and in the story. So we usually do things for emotional reasons, and it's the same with women. Like, if they want to be with you, they have to feel it in their emotions. They can't be persuaded with logic and reason. It has to be an emotional reason. She has to buy into you for an emotional reason. And if her emotions don't feel anything for you, there's not a lot you can do. The only thing you can do is to back off. That's all you have to do. So actually you can be really lazy with this and just completely let go and just not do anything anymore, and to apply no contact. Okay, because no contact, it really is the best way to figure out how someone feels about you, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. If you really want to know how she feels about you, and if you really want to know where you stand with her, don't talk to her anymore, don't text her anymore. Because once she realizes that you're no longer communicating with her, if she does have feelings for you, she's going to start to feel, remember emotions, that she's losing you. And if she's afraid of losing you, she'll reach out to you. Because if you think about it, you're obviously afraid of losing her. You really want to reach out to her. You really want to talk to her. You really want to, because you're afraid. You're afraid of losing her, and perhaps you have lost her and you're really afraid of not being able to be with her ever again, or to be able to reattract her. So yeah, you feel like you need to do something. But if she already knows how you feel about her, then there's not really much else you can do apart from no contact. So if you think about it in this kind of way, think of it very logically, then if you want to make her feel the same emotions that you're feeling, then you have to do the same thing, which is to back off, show no interest anymore, and to essentially do no contact, and to let her do everything now. So she can feel and sit with her emotions and think about you and wonder about you, and then decide to change her mind about you, to change how she feels about you. So that's really the best thing you can do. You can't text her anymore. You can't try and worm your way back in. Because more than likely she knows how you feel about her, and you've done all that you can already. And it may be the case that you've already done too much. Perhaps you over pursued, perhaps you begged. In that case, you must definitely do no contact. Okay? So what you got to remember about, as well, about texting, just in general, just a bit of advice for the future, I guess you could say, is remember that chatting online and texting can get very, very boring for women. Now, it may seem like that's what they want to do because they're all obsessed with their phones. If at least that's what it looks like these days, especially if you're dating women who are a lot, who are younger, right? In the younger generations, like my generation, for example, sort of like the later millennials, because I was born in 92. Women who are in Gen Z and things like that. The women, me, I'm attached to my phone quite a lot because my business is on my phone. Other women are attached to their phones because it's their social thing. Women are just attached to their phones. And to be fair, a lot of us are, even guys are attached to their phones these days because it's just sort of like become a part of us. So it's kind of weird, actually, if you think about it. It's almost like we're almost kind of like robotic now in a way, because it seems like, has got a smartphone, and it's almost like become a part of our body in a way. It's really strange how this is sort of manifested over the last couple of decades with our smartphones and things. But anyway, like I was saying, sorry about the tangent. It may seem like she wants to be on her phone all the time and talking to you all the time, but trust me, if she's talking to a guy who's more mysterious, who isn't chatting to her as much, and she's also got some interest in him, she's going to pick him. She's going to pick the guy who's more mysterious, who isn't on his phone 24/7 to DM her. She's going to pick the guy who's, like I said, more mysterious. If you think about the kinds of movies and books women really, really love, they love books about a guy who's a mystery to begin with. So, for example, Twilight. At the beginning of Twilight, Bella thinks that Edward hates her. She thinks that he doesn't like her that much and also he's there. He's not always there. He's mysterious. He's not always around. It's only until later that she discovers it's actually the opposite and he does actually like her. But by then, her feelings are now engaged, you see. But he's being mysterious. He isn't always in constant contact with her. He's mysterious. And women loved those books. They lapped it up, right? Another example, there was a book series that I read, which I thought was really cool. It was called Fallen. And again, it was like one of these like young adult fiction books that was tailored towards women. And this was more about angels than it was about vampires and things. But basically what happened in this book is that it was the same sort of thing. It was the same scenario. This girl goes to a new school and there's this mysterious guy who she thinks hates her. And that's the guy she ends up with. But, and I'm sure there's other examples as well. There's probably the more, I never read this one, but it was very big at the time, sort of around that same era, which was like the 50 Shades of Grey thing. And I'm pretty sure the main guy in that was probably mysterious too. But what you got to remember is that women lapped these books up. Sometimes they didn't even say to their friends or to their family that they were reading these books, but trust me, they were reading these books. They were. And it plays into the female fantasy of this mysterious guy entering her life who's a bit aloof, who isn't always there, so not always texting her all the time. And and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. And this is how you got to sort of act with women in the beginning. You don't have to do this all the time. And people may think, yeah, well, this is playing games. This is not being real with women. This is not being genuine. This is not being authentic. But it is. You can still do this and still be authentic. You can still show interest. You're just not giving her love letters, sending her flowers, and doing too much, essentially. It's about just doing minimal steps, but you're still showing interest. So the way that you do this then is you do what Corey Wayne talks about, which is just use the phone for setting up dates, for setting up in-person dates. If you ask a woman out on a date, that is showing your intent. That is not playing games. If you're asking her out on a date, she knows what that means. You don't need to lay it out for her like as if it's like a blueprint and say, I'm asking you out, I'm going to ask you out, and it's because I love you, and it's because I'm really interested in you, and it's because I want to sleep with you, and I want your babies, and I want to be with you forever and ever and ever, amen. Okay, you don't need to do that. All you need to do to tell a woman that you're interested in her is to ask her out on a date. And then what you do is you only use the phone for setting up dates. Now, of course, it's okay to send a few messages back and forth, right? So when you first start talking to a woman, let's say you talk to a woman online, right? You've met a woman on a dating app. You can say to her, hey, how are you? And she's like, yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. How are you? And you're like, yeah, I'm doing really well. So what kind of things are you into? And she tells you some of the things that she likes, and you can tell her then some of the things that you like, and then try to wind the conversation up by saying, well, you know what? You sound like a really interesting woman. I'd really like to get to know you better. When are you free to hang out? When are you free? And then you wait for her to tell you when she's free, and then you set up the date. And then in between dates, try not to message her anymore, okay? Because you've set up a concrete date. It's set in stone. You don't need to text her anymore, okay? Unless she reaches out to you. Now, if she reaches out to you, that's great. She might say something like, hey, looking forward to the date, or hey, you know, are we still on for Saturday, or whenever you've set up the date. You're like, yeah, of course, I'm really looking forward to it. Sorry I haven't been online much, been really busy with work, but you know what, I really can't wait to see you on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to it. And then she's like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. And you're like, great, well, you know what, I'm really tired, I've got a crash. I'll talk to you, I'll see you Saturday. And that's all you really need to do. Right? But it's not about, you're not playing games here, you see, because you're still showing interest, you're still showing intent. You're still asking her out on a date. And then what you'll see is that over the weeks as you date her more, so let's say after like the second or third date, she'll start to reach out to you more. She'll start to text you more often. And then when she starts texting you more often, just start hanging out more often. Each time she reaches out to you, ask her if she's available sooner. If you've already set up a date, let's say you've set up a date for Saturday and it's Monday evening and she's texted you, say, oh, you know, I'm also free like Wednesday evening. Do you want to hang out? Are you free then? And just see what she says. Because if she's reaching out to you a lot, then it probably means that she wants to see you more often and she's thinking about you. Because if a woman is messaging you and she's in contact with you and she's initiating things, it's a good sign that she is actually starting to fall in love with you and you're on her mind a lot. So that's what you want to do. You want to just use the phone and texting for that kind of thing. And of course, it's okay to send a few messages back and forth. But ultimately, you want to keep the conversation short and sweet. And you want to end it a lot sooner than what you think she probably wants it to. Okay? And you just do texting like that, and it's a lot more simpler. And then you have to you can focus on other things. You've got more time to do other things that you enjoy, right? Rather than just sitting around texting a woman, you've got time to work on your goals, you've got time to go to the gym, you've got time to focus on your work, your projects, any hobbies that you want, any new skills that you're trying to learn. And that's the way that you do it. And it's really beautiful because all you need to do is just extend the invitation out until she starts messaging you more and starts getting in contact with you more. And it's a really simple, effective way that you can do things. And I've always used it ever since I learned that from Corey Wayne. And it did really wonders for me when I was still in my dating era. And it did really well when I attracted my wife. So not only does it work for men out there, but it also works out for lesbians and bisexual women who are trying to attract women as well. And I think it's also a good method to that some women can actually use on men as well, because obviously this kind of thing, you know, if you think about it, you know, if you're interested in a woman and she's not messaging as much, of course that's going to make you more interested too. So I even suggest it to women to actually sometimes do this kind of thing as well, to only use the phone for setting up dates, because it also works pretty well on guys as well to create intrigue and interest. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christinelovridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.